Zhenla was the name given in Chinese accounts of an entity that sent tributes to Chinese emperors. The word Zhenla and likewise Funan are unknown in the old Khmer language. Similar explanation, however, may apply to later variants from Chenla. According to author Peter Harris, it very likely means defeated Chams, since Cham is the word in Chinese for Cham. He also noted the explanation given in Mingshi during the Qinghuan period of the Song dynasty. Cambodia wiped out Zhenla and took over. Because of this, the country changed its name to Zhenla. But during the Yuan dynasty, it went on being called Zhenla. Origins of Zhenla. Although most of the Chinese recordings on Chenla, including that of Zhenla conquering Funan, derive from very weak sources, have been contested since the 1970s, as they are generally based on single remarks in the Chinese annals. The history of the Chinese Sui dynasty contains entries of the state called Zhenla, a vassal of the kingdom of Funan, which has sent an embassy to China in year 616 or 617. Yet under its ruler Siddhasena Mahendravarman conquered Funan after Zhenla had gained independence. Water Zhenla and land Zhenla. The town history says that after the end of the reign period Shenlong, Zhenla came to be divided into realms. Chenla, land Zhenla, also called Guantan or Polo, and Sri Chenla, water Zhenla, and returned to the anarchic state that had existed before it was unified under the kings of Funan and the first kings of Zhenla. On the other hand, water Zhenla was associated with the Mekong Delta and has access to the river and its benefits. But disadvantage had its downfalls, as it makes water Zhenla more susceptible to attacks. Late in the 8th century AD, it faced war from Javanese pirates. They ultimately took over the Mekong Delta and then later the whole Zhenla Empire, Cambodia history. However, author Michael Vickery asserts that discoveries of water and land Zhenla created by the Chinese are misleading and meaningless because the best evidence shows that until year 802 AD, there was no single great state in the land of ancient Cambodia, but a number of smaller ones. The number of inscriptions declined sharply during the 8th century. However, some theorists who have examined the Chinese transcripts claim that Zhenla started falling during the 700s as a result of both internal divisions and external attacks by the Chenla dynasty of Java, who eventually took over and joined under the Angkor Kingdom of King Jayavarman II. Individually, historians reject a classical decline scenario, arguing there was no Chenla to begin with. Rather, a geographic region has been subject to prolonged periods of contested rule, with turbulent succession and an obvious incapability to establish a lasting standard of gravity. Historiography discontinues this era of nameless upheaval only in the year 802, when Jayavarman II established an appropriately named Khmer Empire. According to the George Goddess, Jambassas were the origin of the ruling dynasty of Zhenla and Wat Phu, its spiritual center. Coedescent contemporary scholars refer to the historical annals of the Sri dynasty, which mention Zhenla and identify its royal residence to be near a mountain named Lingtiapopo or Lingapavata. A temple was constructed on its summit. Wat Phu is an enormously impressive Khmer Hindu temple located at the base of Mount Phu in Laos, which leads theorists to speculate that Phu is the mountain that is referenced in the passage and that Wat Phu could be the temple mentioned. However, this theory is not accepted by modern scholarship. Authors Claude Jacques and Michael Vickery question the identification of Phu as Lingtiapopo Lingapavata because there are a number of hills in Cambodia that apply to the vague descriptions. Thus, the debate remains an existence of Zhenla as a unitary state or a capital at Wat Phu is questionable, since there is not much evidence of writings from the time period. Not much can be said about the region. The Chinese annals are one of the very few sources scholars can analyze and derive information from. Traditional leaders were chosen based on their merit in battle and their ability to attract a large following. However, as rulers gained more power moving away from the commoner's horizon, a shift from measure of the capability towards a patrilineal descent occurred. Adoption of the idea of the Hindu state with its consecrated military leader, the Varman protector king, was the ideological basis for control and supremacy. All essential elements of Varman life, and most of his descendants are known only through epigraphy. Interpreted as to be Vidyavarman's successor, and after gaining independence, he has conquered his role at the tip of his horn. Ruler of the eastern portions of his father's realm, he built a temple in year 598 during his reign in the center of the kingdom Bhavapura. Mahendravarman is, according to epigraphy, also Vidyavarman's son and attributed as to be the conqueror of Funan. Succession is only because it at the same time eliminates his son Bhavarman, the first of the royal function. Historian Michael Vickery resolves Bhavarman and Siddhasena attacked Funan. Ishanavarman is the founder of a new capital Isanapura, north of the Tonle Sap. His sons Bhavarman II is mentioned only once in an inscription in the year 644. Jayavarman I is the last ruler of the united Chenla. He is the son and successor of the obscure Kanjavarman.